Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, and welcome to this horror Blu-ray movie review video as part of my current series where I'm taking a look at horror movies from my standard Blu-ray collection. So today we're going to take a look at it's more of a horror comedy, even a comedy horror, if you will, a movie from the last few years here, and that is from 2018, Bloodfest, which I have here on Blu-ray and DVD. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about Bloodfest from 2018. So obviously, like most of these movies, this was a first time watch for me. Um, I actually didn't really know anything about this movie until recently. I think I added it to my collection earlier this year. Um, but I kind of knew it was in the same vein as Hellfest, and it had an interesting enough premise for me to check it out. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So Bloodfest is a 2018 American comedy horror film written and directed by Egerton, and starring Robbie Ray, Seychelle Gabriel, and Jacob Batalon. Um, the film was released by Rooster Teeth's video on demand service, and its world premiere at the SXSW Film Festival in 2018. So basically, the movie opens with a young boy named Dax who's watching horror films with his mother on Halloween. When she goes to get them drinks, a deranged patient of her husband, renowned psychologist Dr. Vaughn Conway, wearing a red mask, sneaks up on her and murders her. Dax finds the patient standing over his mom's body before his father rushes downstairs and shoots the patient dead. Years later, a now teenage Dax has become obsessed with horror films as a way of coping with his fear following his mother's murder. Dax is preparing to attend Bloodfest, a horror film festival being held on a massive enclosed ranch with zones based on different types of horror films. Dr. Conway, who blames horror films for driving his patient to kill his wife, finds Dax's tickets and Bloodfest wristband and destroys them, forbidding Dax from attending the festival. Dax's best friends Sam and Krill convince him to ask their friend Ashley, an inspiring actress, to give him an extra ticket. Ashley agrees and convinces her boyfriend, Lenjamin, the director of her film, to get Dax access to the festival. When the trio arrive at Bloodfest, Dax meets Roger Hinckley, an actor who played the killer in his favorite horror film series, Arbor Day. When Dax tries to talk to him, Hinckley coldly dismisses him and his own films, disappointing Dax. The festival kicks off with its founder, horror director Anthony Walsh, greeting the audience. He gives a speech about how horror is dead, inviting everyone to help him make the ultimate horror film. An army of chainsaw wielding psychos wearing pig masks, led by a mysterious masked person named Red, descend on the audience and begin brutally murdering everyone. So yeah, that's the setup and the premise for Bloodfest from 2018. As far as the cast goes, Robbie Kay plays Dax Conway. Jacob Batalon as Krill. Uh, Seychelle Gabriel as Sam. Barbara Dunkelman as Ashley. Chris Dubeck as Roger Hinckley. Nick Rutherford as Benjamin Kane. Tate Donovan as Dr. Vaughn Conway, and Rebecca Wagner as Jamie slash Red. So yeah, that's the setup, the premise, and the cast for the 2018 comedy horror film Bloodfest. Um, this is one of those fun horror films. It's not scary. It's not particularly great, in my opinion, but it's fun. You have a good time with it. Kind of like Hellfest. Cabin in the Woods, kind of movies like that. This is a very meta kind of movie. Like it's kind of a cross between Cabin in the Woods and certainly Hellfest a little bit. It's got it takes from a lot of different movies. So I enjoyed it a fair amount. So let's just go ahead and get into my pros and cons with the movie. So starting with the pros are the things that I liked about the movie. Obviously, if you know me and you followed my channel before, I'm a big fan of. I don't even know if this is considered a subgenre of horror, but I enjoy like these haunted attraction, haunted house, haunted theme park kind of horror parks gone wrong, basically. So like the movie Haunt from 2019, I really liked for one. Hellfest I've only seen once. obviously you go back to the 80s with the Fun House, anything related to like amusement parks or horror nights or any sort of horror attraction or horror theme park. I'm in. Like I said, I don't know if that's considered a subgenre of horror, but if it is, it's one of my favorites. And so that right off the bat really caught my attention with this movie, and I really enjoyed the idea of this haunted attraction, more of a haunted horror con or get together festival that's gone wrong, and that's what this movie has. And it's just a really fun and cool idea just on the surface. This idea of attending something like this where there's so many horror icons and different horror parts and different horror themes involved. I wish something like that existed right now so I could go visit it, to be honest with you. Not, less the actual killing and murdering of people. I could do without that, quite frankly. But that's the first thing that I really like. I like and kind of piggybacking on that, I like the different parts of this festival that's laid out in this setting that's related to the different subgenres of horror movies. So you have one part that's like zombies, you have one part that's vampires. There's a torture porn area which takes very much from Saw, basically. There's even a slasher area, and you even have a rage virus kind of area, which is separate from the zombies, which was interesting. So I really enjoyed that. I thought they put some pretty good thought and creativity into that, and I enjoyed all those different areas and aspects of subgenres of horror movies that they got into this festival here. I think it makes for a really intriguing idea, and there's a good amount of fun to be had with it. And I thought there was in this movie. There are quite a few kills with some decent blood and gore, especially in the first 20 minutes or so as the festival starts. Basically, when this guy comes out and introduces and welcomes everybody, and then he says, "Hey, we're going to make a real horror movie here," then it's all hell breaks loose, basically, and people get sawed in half, and there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of gore, carnage, things like that. So if you're somebody that's looking for a little bit more of a gorier movie in this kind of vein with like a horror theme park or festival, then you might really enjoy this movie. Um, but yeah, the festival starts and attendees are sliced and diced. That's really the most glorious part of the movie. About 20 minutes in, I'd say. I really like the score and the music that they use within the movie. It has a good soundtrack with some hard rock kind of music that really fits the movie well, in my opinion. So I really enjoyed that. And then overall, I have to say it's just a fun watch with pretty good production value. This didn't have a terribly high budget, obviously, like some other horror movies in the same vein. Um, but I thought it looked good. I thought there was some competence behind the camera. I thought that there wasn't anything from a technical standpoint that really stood out to me in a negative way. So I felt like it had pretty good production value and an efficient runtime, just around I think 92 minutes, which is perfect for this type of movie and for horror movies in general, but especially like a comedy horror comedy movie. So yeah, those are my pros for Bloodfest. Getting into some cons, it's far from a perfect movie in my opinion. The fact that this movie is more of it's not even, they don't even classify as a horror comedy, but a comedy horror, kind of like Shaun of the Dead. The only difference is Shaun of the Dead I actually thought was funny. This movie, I think I laughed maybe once in this entire movie. The comedy aspects of this movie just didn't really land for me. Not sure if the jokes in the comedy is targeted for a more younger audience, like 15 to 19-year olds, maybe 20s somethings, but it didn't work for me. I don't know, just the humor, the what they were going for with the comedy just didn't really land for me. So obviously that's kind of a disappointment when the movie's not scary at all. It's meant to be more of a taking a horror theme, in this case a horror movie theme park kind of thing, which is really cool, but making it more of a comedy with a lot of meta-ness to it, a lot of self-awareness by the characters. And unfortunately, if the comedy doesn't work, you don't really have many legs to stand on with it there. There is quite a bit of CGI related to the gore and the kills that I was talking about before, which at times is more noticeably bad than other times. But yeah, that's one thing about the kills and the gore. There's a lot of CGI that's involved here, a lot more than any sort of practical effects. So Obviously, that's not one of my favorite things. The third act of this movie wasn't quite as strong as I was hoping for as we were getting through the movie. I thought the twist that they had with this big reveal was kind of obvious and predictable, kind of lame to be honest with you. It just felt like every other movie. Um, yeah, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give spoilers away, but it really didn't do anything for me. Also, I have to say the characters really didn't do a whole lot for me. They're pretty standard cliche horror characters. Again, in a very meta, kind of self-aware sort of way. So you obviously have the main character of Dax as sort of the horror nerdy kid. That's a little bit not necessarily popular, a little bit more off the beaten path. You have his sort of tomboyish friend that happens to be a girl who kind of likes him, and he kind of likes her, and of course that comes to fruition later in the movie. You have his overweight best friend who's just trying to get laid the whole movie. You have sort of the slutty actress that's will do whatever it takes to become an actress and get parts, and you just kind of have it all here. And those shallow characters and stuff. I don't know. I wasn't really tied or didn't really feel a strong connection to any of the characters, and none of them really stood out to me where I was invested in them. And then finally, this movie really does ask you to suspend your disbelief with some of the over the top sequences that they have, and just the overall premise of basically of who's involved and why this is happening, and just sort of the why of it. And it's you really have to just again, I know it's meant to be sort of a fantasy comedy horror movie, so obviously you're not going to take it seriously, but you'd still like to have a little bit of groundedness in reality. At least I would. And then one final con, just more of a smaller nitpick, is once the shit hits the fan, basically at the beginning of this movie, the main characters that we follow basically go underground to hide from everything going on, and we don't really get to see what's going on above ground much as far as the other patrons that are being killed. And that was kind of a disappointment. I thought maybe they could have flashed to some of that, or maybe had one of the main characters go back up and so we could see some of that. My guess is it's probably budget constraints. It was a way for them with a lower budget not to have to shoot as much, not to have as many effects, not to have those type of things. That's my guess, but that was kind of disappointing in the grand scheme of the movie. It mostly takes place underground, like the middle 45 minutes to the final hour, minus the last 15 minutes or so. So a couple of things I forgot to mention for pros. I thought there were pretty good and creative makeup effects and costume designs, things like that, that kind of work for me. You have like some pig mask outfits with chainsaws and stuff. They kind of rip off from real movies and real life horror movies, but not really. They kind of do their own. They kind of do their own thing. I think they do mention like Jason, Friday the 13th, and Halloween. So they are talking a little bit about real movies that exist, but yeah, I just wanted to mention I thought there was some pretty good makeup and costume effects and designs in this movie as well. But for what it is, it's fun. I mean, it's a movie I'll probably watch every couple of years around Halloween. It is a good watch around Halloween, I would say, but probably not every year for me. Maybe I'll alternate this and Hellfest. They are different. I only saw Hellfest once, but I feel like even though that's meant to be sort of a tongue-in-cheek comedy as well, the one time I watched it, almost felt like that worked a little bit better for me. But I can't say for sure. I have to watch it again. I'm going to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. I think there's some fun to be had here. As I said, I like the whole haunted attraction or the haunted horror movie festival going on here with all the different parts of it, with the zombies and the torture porn and everything. I think the acting is fine. It's serviceable in this movie, even though I mentioned I wasn't a huge fan of the characters, at least being tied to them. Um, I didn't think the acting was horrible. I thought it was passable. Um, but yeah, ultimately there's no scares. The comedy didn't land for me. There's too much CGI in the kills, and the third act and the twist just didn't work for me either. And I wasn't completely tied to the characters as well. And to be honest with you, this is just me from my standpoint. I think that I'm more of a when it comes to these horror attractions and that sort of subgenre I was talking about, I kind of like more serious, like scary ones. That's why I really like Haunt from 2019, the Funhouse to a certain extent from 81, even though there's definitely some comedy in that. And there is in Haunt too. I mean, I'm not saying it has to be devoid of comedy, but this is, like I said, this isn't even considered a horror comedy. It's a comedy horror. So in other words, it's more of a comedy movie that just happens to have the theme of horror movies. So, but for what it is, it's fun. It's a fun enough time. I'm going to keep it in my collection. I mean, I think it's a good movie for what it is, a fun movie, not a great movie though. So 6.5 out of 10 for Bloodfest from 2018. Go ahead and comment down below if you guys have seen Bloodfest, what you think of it. Do you like it more than I do? Less? Why not? Please like this video and hit the little notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews for this series. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel as well so you don't miss any of my great horror content, especially the month of October, which we're only several days away from now. But also beyond that, the rest of this year and into next, I have some great ideas and content planned out. So I hope everybody's enjoying this series and hope everybody's doing well and they're getting into fall here. And hope you enjoyed this review. And of course, as always, stay scared.